1, 2, 3. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Da, 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 da.
And let me tell you how powerful you were in Ruined.
Oh.
You did the show a number of times, and I sat there in the theater that one night and watched it. I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, you were like a warrior princess.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
You had aura and power. I was moved. Yeah.
That was a special show, man. And I remember too, like I actually got cast in another show at the same time, like before that one. Right. And I left that show to be in Ruined. And I'm not going to say names, but there was this person that I left the show that he tried to tell me that I was not going to work if I left the show. I was his actor and I better not leave. Like he left me some like really terrible like voicemail. Like it was bad. And I was
That's jacked up.
Oh yeah. It was like, what? I thought I could, if I have a better opportunity, I thought I could go and you know what I mean? Like and I was talking to people about it and they were like, nah, he ain't got no power. So don't worry about that he lost you.
He ain't got no juice.
Right. They're like, don't even worry about that. Ain't nobody thinking about him. And then I heard that he actually had some like temper stuff. So I kind of dodged a big bullet by being able to work with Aaron Todd as director of Ruin. So, and then, then Chuck, because Chuck Smith saw me in that. And then I got like a straight callback. I didn't have an initial audition. Chuck had me come to callbacks to audition for Stick Fly that Windy City Playhouse did, and then I got cast as the lead of that. So like literally it's just been like people just seeing the thing and then they come and they like, it's such a blessing. I'll just be like, what? Like, I mean, and the same thing happened with me even becoming a Steppenwolf ensemble member. Like the artistic director, Anna Shapiro, was going to see James Vincent Meredith in Court Theater's Blues for an Alabama Sky because he's an ensemble member, right? She didn't know me, but when she saw me, she was just like, who is that? And why don't we ever have her at Steppenwolf? And like, I mean, I was trying, like they had me understudy and then they kept asking me to understudy and I kept being like, nah, can I audition for a show though? Like I'm not trying to be a professional understudy there. So I really kind of needed Anna to see me in Court Theater's Blues for an Alabama Sky because she actually was like, let's have her audition for Black's Workshop. And then I got cast in Black's Workshop and then it was like, let's put her in the show. And then after I do that show, they asked me to be an ensemble member. And like, so yeah, it's like, it's such a like, and I didn't even know that she saw me. It was just so crazy. And all the conversations she had with other people about me before I just found all this stuff out later. Like, I was like, wait, she called up you, James? And you said, she was like investigating me this whole time?
You know, I've heard casting directors say, go do shows, go do plays. Oh, you want to get on TV show, go do plays so that they can come see you. Yeah. And speaking of shows, let's talk about your reoccurring character. Oh
yes, a blessing. So let me see. So Chicago PD medical examiner. Yeah, I got
nice.
Can get cast in that 2013. And it was one of those things where it wasn't recurring at the time. So I did one episode, season 1, and that was it. You know what I mean? And then I think that writer, whoever hired me, was not there all of season 2, so neither was I. But then the writer or something came back season 3 and was like, where's that medical examiner we had? And then that's when they brought me back. And so it literally has been like a really interesting, beautiful experience. But it also is kind of crazy because it's like, I like secretly want people to die on the show so I can appear. Because if nobody dies, I don't actually come back. So
right.
So and there's another medical examiner that they go back and forth between me and this other woman, and so it also kind of depends on the director if they want an older white woman, or if they want me, and sometimes we'll go with the older white woman. So like, so I'm always just like, okay, is it my turn yet? Or, so that's been, it's really interesting. It's always one scene, some, medical jargon, and like, I just, in between takes, just sit in the corner because I don't know everybody that well to be all like, what y'all laugh about? You know what I mean? So I just kind of try to do my job,
No doubt.
It looks like they called you back for one scene 14 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
They keep, it's always one scene. Yeah, it really varies whether it's going to be once a year, a couple times a year. Like, it really is like, so I never know when they're going to call me back. I wish that was something I knew, but it all depends on if someone dies in the show.
Right.
They get shot in the arm, and then they go to Chicago Med to get all stitched up. And I'm like, man, God,
gotta meet their demise.
It's such a weird thing because I hate it in life, of course. I never want somebody to die. But for this reality, I'm like, man, I kind of want them to write some people to die.
No doubt.
I feel terrible about that, but it's true. So
it's real. It's real.
Thank God it's the movie.
Yeah, but you know what? Residuals are still a blessing. So regardless.
Absolutely.
Right. Regardless, I still got them 14 episodes to keep it coming.
I love it. You know what's tripped out? I went to DePaul too. I graduated in 2002. And it was the same thing. It was like, it was 5. It started out with 10, and it was 5 of us when it was all said and done. It was a good experience, but to your point, you had those experiences where, man, you do shows, we have successes, quote unquote failures. But that being said, how important is training from your perspective in terms of really being a really good actor, really great actor? How important is getting some training?
Oh yeah, I think it's really important because my undergrad, so Tennessee State wasn't actually the strongest for me in terms of like, it didn't really teach me much, to be honest, when it comes to acting or anything. Great institution for other subjects, but for mine in particular, nah. So really, grad school was kind of almost for me a mini undergrad / grad school because I kind of was really learning about acting for the first time in those 3 years, which was really overwhelming. But at the same time, the cool thing about DePaul was that all the teachers were working professionals. And they, they're giving you all these different methods, all these different techniques. And then I choose which one, I want to use for my professional life or how I'm going to do my own blend. And so sometimes, I just feel like they just gave me a really great tool bag of things that I could pull out, or I need to look back at what was that thing that I learned in that Laban class? Let me look back. So now it's just like I got this bag of tools that I can, look into because with Tennessee State, it was all raw talent. It was all raw, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but there was enough rawness that was interesting that made it work. But like, it still was like, I was, I wasn't focused the way that I kind of became with DePaul, because I feel like I really kind of learned how to ground myself more with that training.
Now, I was looking on IMDb, and there's a film, Range Runners, and you're on the poster. And you've got all this dirt on your face. It looks like you had the opportunity to be athletic in it, and you're the poster. You're the star of the show. Tell us about that. So Range Runners. I shot that in 2018, and yes, right now it is available on Amazon Prime.
We gotta check it out, no doubt.
Yeah.
And Verizon and Comcast, DirecTV, everything. So it's streaming right now, and a really great time, I think, for the Halloween season, actually. But it's a survival thriller. So I'm basically hiking in the woods and come across some people that shouldn't be in the woods, and they take something from me, and instead of actually going for help, I actually go after them to get my stuff back. And then it ends up not going so great. They do some stuff, and I'm just like, I'm fighting, but then I'm scared, and then it's like a lot happening. But I end up, the whole thing is about perseverance.
Nice.
It really is and that's a lot of track kind of came up with that because I'm running, and there's some really cool like flashback moments that kind of are layered in so you can understand why She is so determined. And
the scenery looks beautiful.
Oh yeah. So the director and a lot of people actually that worked on that film work on Chicago PD. We didn't know each other actually at the time. But the director, Philip S. Plowden, actually is the location assistant scout of Chicago PD. So he finds all those locations or helps with that for that TV show. And then also like the writer works on Chicago PD as another person. And then the cinematographer also is one of the film people for Chicago PD. So they had for it to be an independent film, like it was the like kind of the top type of professional people that had the best equipment.
Nice.
Some really cool stuff. So the visually it's beautiful. The locations that they have are it's amazing. And yeah, it's really actually really, cool to watch. Just seeing all the stuff that they did. And it's just a crazy experience to see me go through all that.
Oh, I gotta check it out. So having said that, what are some of the differences from your viewpoint upon doing film and doing theater? What are some of the differences between the two?
Man. So I'll say, theater, because I have so much more experience in it, it's a little bit more of a comfort, right?
Right.
But film is really exciting to me because I always love learning new things and stuff. But the thing that I learned for someone that got used to using my big energy to fill up the stage and all that stuff, it's like I basically just kind of, when I do film, I think about, okay, if I was just sitting on the couch in my apartment talking to my friend, how would I say these words? Like, it's not going to be a theater, like really, maybe really taking up the space, doing a little something bigger to really, for the people sitting way in the back.
Right.
Kind of like I'm just really naturalistic, and that internal energy that I have, I noticed that it stays alive. So as long as my energy stays alive, it ends up being really, really I'm able to maintain the grounded work that I want. So, but the thing about film and TV that I love as well as hate is that I can just a big emotional, heavy moment. I only got to do that once. You know what I mean? I got to do that maybe a couple takes and I'm done with that thing. But theater, that whole oh man, my husband dies. I got to do that 8 times a week or whatever.
Right.
I can't. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. My body has to my body doesn't know that I'm acting sometimes. It literally is tense. It literally is feeling this trauma that I'm putting on it because I need to, get to this emotional level. But yeah, so I love that about film because it's ooh, I only got to do this a couple times. Let's go hard. And then, but the thing that I don't like is that because I don't have that rehearsal process I do theater, it's I can go home, or back to my hotel, wherever I'm at shooting or something. And then I have this amazing idea that but we already freaking filmed that scene. And so I can't I can't go back to it. So even with Range Runners, there were certain scenes that we shot and, I'm just doing what first impulse comes to mind and just trying to go hard with it. But then I'd get back to the cabin wait, oh man, I should have tried it. Ooh, if I had did.
Mm-hmm. Right, no doubt.
And then just knowing that it's there forever. You know what I mean? There forever. So don't mess up that. They talk about, don't try to be perfectionist. But with film and TV, you kind of need to be a perfectionist if you don't want some crazy work out there. So, and that's hard. You know what I mean? That's hard to take in. Theater is more forgiving because, you see somebody and feel maybe that's an off night. You have an off night sometimes, right? So with film and TV, it's just knowing that it's a different pressure.
Right.
But I also, it's exciting because it's just man, Range Runners, we shot that in 18 days. And this thing
18 days, okay, man.
Yeah, and it's just living, you know what I mean? It has a life of its own, you know what I mean? I only had to spend that much time with it, whatever, and it's just out there, you know what I mean? And it's just so cool because it's I actually am not going through that right now. I go through a lot of crap in that film. It is terrible. People cringe and they're screaming about what of the stuff that I'm experiencing in that film.
No doubt, can't wait to see it, yeah.
Right, but I'm like, look, man, like I only had to do that a couple takes, y'all. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here good. Like I'm chilling.
It's a trip. Tom Hanks. I was listening to this video of Tom Hanks and Viola Davis. They were interviewing each other, and they were saying the same thing. He was saying they were asking, "Do you look at your old films?" He was saying, "Well, it's kind of hard because sometimes the families look at some films. You look at a moment you feel you didn't hit, right?" And they were saying this stuff, and they were saying differences with theater. You do a theater, and it's kind of like it takes a while, but then kind of like it disappears. You know what I'm saying? And this is on tape. But film is just there forever.
Theater, you can attack it better the next day. I'm gonna get this better the next day. Like, Hey,
it looks like we're getting close to the time. But before Brad asked that last question, I wanted to just have you give us one memorable moment on Chirac, the movie.
Oh, one memorable moment. So I had one scene. Probably, it actually wasn't at my shoot day. It was actually the table read that I was included in. And I was just like, I am at this table with Spike Lee and Jennifer Hudson and John Cusack. And here I am just here, you know what I mean? Tiana, like, hey, I was so quiet, so nervous. And so just like, okay, like they do know that it's me, right? Like,
right.
They cast, right? Like I'm so, but I was so great because the late Samuel Roberson was also in that film. And so he was at the table read. So I had a buddy to talk to, to kind of calm my nerves. But yeah, Sam, he was a pro. He was just like, "Hey, Spike, can we get this picture?" I'm like, I had never asked him for that picture. I should have though.
No doubt. Hey, you know what, Celeste? You belong at that table, sister. You belong at that table. That's what's up.
Thank you. I have to remind myself that all the time. But it's like a kid in a candy store, man.
Right.
Like all of this, there's always something new and exciting that I haven't done. Or just when you go from watching these people to actually being there, it just seems so different. Like it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What advice would you give a young person looking to become an actor or artist? What advice would you give them?
So if they don't have any training at all, or just like they're in the business, or whatever I want to say.
Yeah, whatever you want to say. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess if you're coming at this for the first time, I definitely would say study from the best. Even when it comes to some of these acting studios and stuff like that, if you're not impressed by the credit, that probably shouldn't be your teacher. What I mean, like, or even just, because I don't necessarily think you have to go to school for things. I think as long as you have a really great teacher, a really great coach that is legit, like they can get a lot out of you. You know what I mean? School is expensive. And so I would say that. And then on top of that, once you're doing it, like you're going to need something that is not acting. You're going to need some hobby. You're going to need to be spiritually grounded. You're going to need to keep up your self-care because this business is abusive. You know what I mean? And like it really is. Right. You got your highs and your lows, and sometimes it's good to you, and sometimes it's going to be bad to you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what do you do in the days of rejection? Because you're going to have way more rejection than you have of bookings, right? So what are you going to do in that moment? And I don't think self-medication is the way. So let's try to like find another thing that makes you feel good. What is that hobby? Are you a scrapbooker? You know what I mean? Are you reading a book? Like what will make you calm to remind you that you are enough? Journaling, all that stuff is good. And try your best. Easier said than done. Staying in your own lane. Knowing that just because someone's social media page looks real good, that's just the highlight. You know what I mean? You'll see what's happening behind closed doors.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't gonna necessarily ever post like, "Hey, I was really depressed right now." No, I don't want the whole world to know my business like that. I will be transparent, but I'm not gonna say everything. And just that's the thing that I think people need to keep in mind, because sometimes people that are out here doing the most are actually also getting hit the hardest.
No doubt.
So it's not even necessarily that anyone's bragging or trying to say that they better or anything like that. It's like, nah, man, this actually is something that I worked extremely hard for. So celebrate those people, you know what I mean? Celebrate them, even if they are arrogant, celebrate them, you know what I mean? And just be inspired by them and do your thing, because you can be like, oh my gosh, I auditioned there, I could do that better, I could do that. Well, until you actually do it, nobody knows that you could do it better. So how about you do it? and then, you know, we'll see then, you know what I mean? Because there's so much out here. You can always create your own. And I advise everyone create their own work on top of this business, because it empowers you and it inspires others to do the same. So just take that extra time to do more than just rely on your agent to get you gigs. You gotta do some more stuff.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, Celeste, that was so empowering, my friend. So empowering. Straight up, it is.
Moved and inspired.
No doubt.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. I love talking.
Hey, it's been a pleasure talking with you. So for Brad Stevens and
Harold Dennis, and you can call me H.
As always, dream big, dare to be great, and we talk to you later. Peace.
Yay.